What's going on, guys? Alex and Alex here, back at you with another episode of Behind the Counter, where you guys submit all your questions and we will give our humble opinions on them. So let's just jump right into it. So first question comes from YouTube user Jared Judd, and he had asked is there any realistic clear advantage to a 4+ pod pack over a 3+ pod pack? One of the easiest simple answers is, besides the fact that you're obviously holding more paint with a 4+ pod pack and the main pod sleeves, I guess is what you would call it.
Yeah.
Is there really a super big advantage? No, not really. I think the 4+ pod pack is probably the universal answer. If you're just looking to get yourself a pod pack, I'd probably go with a 4+. It's a better universal solution for everything. And then I think you had some kind of personal experience if you want to chime in on that.
Yeah, like one thing is like if you're in the woods, you have the 4-pack versus 3-pack. If you want to go out with 4 pods and you have a 3-pod pack, then that means you have to use one of the rubber bands.
Yeah, the loops. Yeah.
And then you need to find someone to put the pod back in for you.
Yeah, because you can't get it in by yourself.
With the 4, you can put that 4th pod in by yourself. And I know, like, even my friend players, they always ran the 4-pod pack. And I was like, once you hit the 3, it's smaller. But what they say is it's actually bigger if you have a 3-pod, the 3-pod pack, and then you fill up all the elastics.
Yeah.
Your pack's actually bigger than if you had the 4. And
right.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
So.
Universally, though, I think we both recommend going with the 4+ pack, and just a universal solution. It's perfect for pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, if I was going to buy a new pack, then it'd be the 4. Right now I have the 3, but whatever. 4 is what I would go towards.
Yeah, right now I'm using a 3 just because I play snake front, but the league that I'm playing in, the points just go so quickly. I will rarely shoot more than a hopper and a pod and a half. The points are just too quick. It just doesn't happen. So the 3+ is fine for me. But if we were playing like semi or something like that, where the points were really long, I would absolutely run a 4+ in snake front, no question. All right. So next question is from YouTube user Nick Dangtran, and he is looking to get into the rail maxed, and he wanted to know basically just like a little bit of overview, like what does it take for like the regular maintenance, and what are the pros and cons, that kind of thing. So I guess we'll just do a little mini rail max overview. Just to precursor this, I would highly recommend that you go check out one of my previous videos where I do a complete half-hour review and overview and like my whole thought process about the rail max specifically. And there's also multiple videos in my channel's history about the maintenance for the bolt system that's in the rail maxed and in DMs in general. So I definitely go check those out, just right off the bat, but we can just give a quick overview.
Yeah. I think it's a great gun.
Yeah.
For the price.
For the price, yeah.
Yeah. It has a composite frame on it, and it's got the dumbed-down solenoid. Out in the woods, and if you're a beginner, I think it's a great gun.
Yeah, there's definitely no problems with that.
If you plan on going hardcore tournament scene, it's gonna be fine for the first year.
Yeah, but after that,
but you're gonna outgrow it.
Yeah, you're gonna outgrow it pretty quick.
I'm not saying the gun's gonna break down, but I think that you as a player will outgrow it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got an awesome ASA. The regulator is great, barrel's great, clamp and feed neck. It's just all around it's great. The only issue is the dumbed down solenoid and composite frame. I say it's an issue, but realistically, it's not an issue. They don't break or anything like that. Yeah,
for sure. Like he said, it's got the die UL airport. It's got the die clamping feed neck on it. The bolt maintenance is fairly straightforward and simple. Again, I have videos on those in my channel. The barrel, it's a 2-piece proto barrel. It's made on the same machines as die UL barrels, so you can just get yourself a die UL back, and that'll work with the tip that you already have, which is pretty solid.
Yeah, that's one thing. They come with a fairly large bore.
Yeah, the stock barrel size is a fairly large bore size, so you might want to get yourself another barrel back, but that's it. You can get yourself a really nice die UL back in the right size for $60 or $70 or whatever they are now.
Yeah.
And then that's it, because the tip that came with the gun will work on it, and there you go. So yeah, nice. The trigger's nice. It's the same shape and size as the ultralight, the regular ultralight frame, the real one. But it is composite, so it does feel a little different, but it's not really that big. It's not like an issue.
No.
I don't think.
I haven't heard of them breaking or anything.
Yeah, but if like you mentioned, if you're getting into the tournament scene pretty hard, your first couple outings, it'll probably be fine. Maybe even your first year. But you'll probably, if you keep going with it and you go into a second year, you'll probably realize pretty quick that you're going to need something a little bit higher. I guess that would be my initial overview. And again, I would just encourage you to go check out the previous video I did, the Rail Maxed, and my thoughts on that, which you can find in the Die playlist on my channel here, or you can just scroll back through the history and the videos. And I think it's like 2-3 months ago, I think, is when it went up. So go check that out. That would be your definitive answer, I think. So the next question comes from YouTube user HR Smith, and he asks, your PB friend had a DM4 for $150. Should I buy it?
I say no. The gun is pretty much worth $75.
$7,500, yeah.
Yeah. They're great guns. They shoot great. They're smooth because they're so heavy. They use all industry standard parts, so getting parts in general won't be an issue for it. It's just outdated.
It's just, yeah, it is. It's I agree. I wouldn't grab it. I'd save up. You got $150. You're looking in the used market. I'd save up another $100. You can get yourself an older Ego or a newer DM. Obviously, still an older DM, but something newer than a DM4.
Yeah, DM6 would be the oldest I'd want to go.
Probably, yeah. I'd probably go with the DM6s if you're into DMs and you're looking for an older one. 6 is probably the earliest I would go, because that's the first year they had the ultralight frame standard. It's really the first, what we know as the modern DM today. It was probably the first in that line.
Yeah.
It was small. It was light.
Same solenoid up until 13.
Yep. Yeah, they changed. That's when everything pretty much became modernized in the DM. Obviously, there's a big jump from the DM3 to the DM4, and that's kind of where it became a modern tournament gun.
Yeah.
But I think modern standardized die matrix really was 2006 is when the first one hit.
Yeah.
In my mind, that's
right. Yeah. I mean, it's so much the sit between the 5 and the 6, or the 4 and the 5 are basically the same.
Yeah, the 5 and the 6 is massive difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're realistically between the 5 and the 6. You're looking at the old guard versus modern current speedball guns, which I would consider the DM6 is what we would think is like a kind of modern current speedball gun.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it is still there, whereas the DM5, I think everybody kind of pictures it as like more of a vintage piece at this point,
right?
Which obviously it's 10 years old. It's not terribly old, but it is big. It's a block. It's heavy.
Yeah.
Big differences. So no, don't buy the DM4 for $150. In our opinion, save up another little bit of change. Go get yourself an older Ego or like a DM6 or something like that. I think you can get a DM6 for $250.
I think so.
No questions asked. I see those things go for $250 all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah. Next question is from YouTube user Paintball is awesome, and he asked in comment to our $600 challenge video, why don't you do a used axe? We don't do those videos. Have nothing to do with used equipment. That's it.
Yeah, in general, when we're doing a video and we're talking about a gun, we're talking about brand new prices.
Yeah.
Just because one, we're a store, so we kind of want people to buy the new stuff. And a lot of people who are looking for information, kind of hoping that they're going to be new players who are, looking to get into the sport.
Yep.
So, and new is so much easier because it's a set price. Used, you have no idea on a price. So, I mean, if we wanted to do a $600 video, Ultimate Gun video, if I can say I'll look for a guy who's selling a DM15 for $200.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look online for 2 months and then haggle somebody down on a fucking DM10 to $200. It's gonna happen at some point.
Right.
But that's not realistic.
Exactly. So we just go with new prices on pretty much everything we talk about, just because it's easier.
It is, yeah. And in general, when you guys, all these videos that we're making and stuff like that, especially all the challenges and stuff like that, that just went up over the last week, and anytime I review a product and that kind of thing, what I am talking about is a new in-box item. I'm referring to the price as it is, as a new in-box item. Here at the store, we don't really deal in used at all.
Yeah.
Almost never. Very circumstantial. In general, when I do product reviews and stuff like that, this is all, this is all brand new, unused items. And I just don't, unless it's fairly obvious, like it's an old, like an old shocker or something like that. Unless it's fairly obvious that it's a used piece, you can pretty safely assume that it's a brand new product here in the store.
And something that's current too. Yeah,
something that's current. I've got questions like that before, all the stuff like, why don't you did a big comparison between these 3 things? Why don't you do it with this thing too? When I'm making videos and stuff like all of this, reviews on product, it's because we have it here in the store. That's where this is my resource to make all these videos, because we have a quite large store, but we don't have everything. I don't carry MacDev guns right now. I don't carry Bob Long guns right now. Stuff like that, like masks. I did a big mask review, and I think somebody asked me, why don't you do the HK mask? Why don't you show the HK mask too? Well, I don't carry HK masks in the store. I'm not going to go buy an HK mask just to, do a 10-minute video on a mask comparison, and then what am I going to do? Now I have an HK mask that I don't want, and now I lost money because I got to sell it.
Or you can give it away.
I could give it away. That's an expensive giveaway.
Yeah.
So yeah, when we do videos like this and reviews and stuff like that, it's all product that's here in my store. That's the resource that I'm using, to produce all this YouTube content. So, if you watch videos and I do a comparison between a bunch of different products and you see something missing, there's a fairly high percentage chance that it's because I don't carry it in the store. A lot of the times I can give you guys an opinion on it because I might have used it or come in contact with it at some point, like used a friend's gun or something like that we don't carry, or a mask, or dealt with it before. I just don't carry it here in the store, so when I go to make videos, I don't have one to grab. A lot of times I do have experience with stuff, so I can generally answer your questions. But that's why you don't see some stuff in videos. I think somebody asked why didn't you do like a J&J Edge kit or something like that in my barrel video? Because we don't stock J&J Edge kits. That's simple as that.
Yeah, I didn't think they made those anymore.
They do.
All right.
So yeah, that's it. That's why you don't see a lot of stuff appearing. Smaller stuff, that kind of thing. In videos, and that's why we use specific things in videos when we talk about stuff, and why we talk about specific prices the way they are, and refer to items as a specific price, because we're referring to it as brand new and we're pulling from just what we have here in the store.
Yeah.
So there you go. Next question comes from YouTube user Troy Weimer, and he saw on, I think it was when we did the $600 video.
Might have been the 6.
I think it was the 6. He's like, hey, wasn't that a Scion on that ether? Yes, it was, Troy. Yes, it was.
You win.
You win. No, it was a Scion on that ether. Halo 2s in the packaging come in blister packaging, and I only had one out of blister packaging at the time for my display. One on the wall. The rest of them are in the blister packaging. I didn't want to cut one open just so we could put it underneath and make a 10-minute video. So we used a Scion because it's the same shell. It's just got an Empire logo on the side. So yes, it was a Scion just because I didn't have a second Halo out of packaging.
Yeah, good eyes.
I'm pretty sure you're probably the only person to notice that. We figured that.
Yeah, we were like, Oh, they're not going to notice.
They're not going to notice. The camera's far enough away. Well, apparently you noticed. Good on ya. I would say you won something, but it wasn't a contest, and I have nothing to give you, so I'm sorry. Next question comes from YouTube user Brian Dumont. He asked, in comment to the first part of the barrel sizing video that I did, he asked if he thought some of the barrels look used. Nope, those are all brand new. They're actually just right over there, displayed on our gun wall on the grid wall. It's all brand new, never used pieces. I think the only one that really looks used is one of the Azoden backs. Might be covered in fingerprints and stuff like that because they're really glossy. So they really easy get, like, you can get smudgy fingerprints all over them and they don't look glossy anymore, so they look scuffed or something like that. Maybe that's what you saw. I don't know what specifically you saw, but no, all those barrels were brand new parts. So next video from YouTube user Vladimir Rodriguez. What barrel was on your Chaos when we did was it the $300 challenge?
Yeah, $300 challenge.
What barrel was on your Chaos?
That'd be the J&J ceramic. Which, I like it.
J&J ceramic 12-inch, 14-inch or 12-inch? What did we use?
I think 14.
14? J&J ceramic 14-inch barrel was the barrel on that Chaos.
Yeah, it retails for $37.
$37. They're fantastic barrels for $37.
Yep.
Yeah. There you go. That was the barrel that was on that Chaos. Next question from YouTube user Steven Foster. Why don't you guys like the ball bearing in the new Ninja Regs? A couple of reasons. I think there's two reasons basically why we don't like it.
Yeah.
Why don't you give a reason and I'll give the other reason.
But that ball bearing, it doesn't work with every ASA out there. It works with most of them, but I do know that the Resurrection and the Sniper, it doesn't work at all. The
pin doesn't depress the ball bearing in enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we've had other guns where it's choking out the gun.
Yep.
It's opening it up enough to air up the gun, but then you start shooting and it's not opening up enough.
It's not enough to provide you with the recharge rate and enough airflow to get into the gun. Yep.
Yeah. In general, it works in most ASAs.
It works in most ASAs. It works in as far as I can tell, it works in DMs. It works on Planet Eclipse stuff. It works on die stuff. It seems to be really touch and go with Empire stuff.
Yeah. Something with a pin that you can keep on screwing in, like the Lux. Those will be fine.
Yeah, the older DM ones, those will be fine. The DM, the Ultralight Airport, the newer die one where you crank it, but that pin actually goes out pretty far. Those are fine.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, all the Eclipse ones are fine, like the Oops and the Pops. Those don't seem to have problems.
It's just we ran into it a few times here at the shop.
Yeah, just different ASAs. Specifically, the ones we've noticed so far are the ASA that's on the Empire Resurrection Autococker and the Empire Sniper.
Yeah, but the Impulse was fine.
The Impulse was fine, and that's
those are similar.
It's like the same thing,
right?
Because I ran my Superlight 68 has the ball bearing reg on it, obviously, and I ran it on my Impulse all season. I didn't have a problem.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The second part of that is the ball bearings seem to be extremely difficult to turn on in the first place, if you can even turn it on. For some reason, because of the way the ball bearing is, instead of the pin that's usually there, you need a lot of force to turn that on. That's why I did that video recommending that anybody with the new Ninja ASAs might want to lower their operating pressure. I did that a while ago. And that's why even Planet Eclipse put out a public service announcement video about how to push in your Pops ASA. Yeah. Just because it was taking so much force to move that ball bearing instead of the pin.
The die airport is...
Some
of them are super hard.
Some of them are really hard, and the solution to that is you need to take some of the shims out of the regulator, so it lowers the output pressure.
Yeah.
That's just straight up. So that's basically the two big reasons why we don't like it. Obviously it's not like a deal breaker. Obviously I still use one because I have a Superlight Ninja tank.
Yeah.
And I took the shims out of it, so my operating pressure is way lower now. I don't have any problems doing the pops on my Ego LV1 or anything like that. So, but those are the two reasons why, in general, it's like, I wish it could be better.
Yeah, I mean, the science behind it's solid.
Yeah.
Big ball bearing gives better airflow.
Yep. Smoother surface, less coefficient of friction.
Yep. So I'm sure Ninja knows about it, and I'm sure they're working on it. And
they are. I've been in contact with Ninja about this, and they are working on it.
All right.
Okay. Let's see. Don't like Ninja ball bearing. Next question is again from YouTube user Paintball is awesome. Why don't CCMs go down in resale value? Pretty simple.
Yeah, it's very simple. They make a super high quality gun
and parts,
and they don't make a lot of them.
Yeah, they don't flood the market with them. There's very few of them there. They're extremely high quality and they're fantastic, so they're always valued.
Yeah, so the whole supply and demand thing.
Yeah,
there's not a huge supply of them.
So the demand is high.
And there's a larger demand, and the quality's behind it. Everything is super smooth.
Yeah,
I like them a lot. I think they're worth the money.
Yeah, straightforward supply and demand, simple economics.
Yep.
That's why CCMs don't go down in resale value. Because they're fantastic pieces, and they don't make them in huge batches.
Yep.
Next question comes from YouTube user Robert Schiller. Where are you actually located in New England? Because I'm in New York. We are in southern New Hampshire. We are in Ware, New Hampshire. It's Weare, New Hampshire. If you look at a map and you find Manchester and Concord, we're basically like 20-30 minutes straight west of Manchester or Concord.
Yeah.
That's where we are. But if you were asking because you were interested in like the shop or something like that, everything here in the shop is available online on our web store, pbwarehouse.com. So that would be where to go. But yeah, we are located in Ware, New Hampshire, southern New Hampshire, just west of Manchester and Concord.
Yep.
Last question we have for today comes from YouTube user Aaron Fredberger, and he asks, are the Eclipse marker bags usable for pump guns?
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
No, I just tried putting my autococker style pump gun into it, and the pump handle sticks out.
The entire pump handle and barrel will stick out. Yeah. Unfortunately, the Eclipse marker bags are just not like deep enough. They're deep enough for a gun body and frame, so you got a square, and that's it. You can't go beyond that. So no barrel, no pump handle. Unfortunately, they just don't fit.
Yeah, I mean, you could zip it up and leave the pump handle out.
Exposed, which is not a super big deal if it's in your gear bag, I guess.
Yeah, which then again, pump guns, you actually have to be kind of careful when you're transporting them.
Right, because you can't, if you bend that pump handle or those guide rods.
Yeah, that's why if someone drops your pump gun without a barrel on it and it lands on the pump, especially if you have an auto trigger on it, if the back block cannot move, your pump arm will actually just bend and snap, and it'll tear like the auto trigger right out. I've had that issue before, just dropping it, don't think anything of it, and then you look at it and your pump arm's bowed. So kind of sucks that they don't fit properly in Eclipse marker bags. I think there's not a whole terribly lot of marker bags that a pump gun's gonna fit in, unfortunately. No, not unless you go old school and look for an old Reds bag or something.
Old Reds gun bag, yep.
Yeah.
Those little Reds 2 gun bags are about a big.
Yep.
I remember those being on the wall at Paintball Wizard when I was a kid. $35, and I was like, oh man, I wish I could afford one of those.
I just found 2 of them in my closet.
Nice. Oh man. So yeah. Excuse me as I take a sip of this delicious beer. That's about it for that episode of Behind the Counter. That's all the questions that we wanted to answer in a Behind the Counter episode. Any other questions that have happened since the last one, I either will answer separately in a whole another video, or I'll make a comment about them or something like that. But that's all the questions that you guys had for this episode of Behind the Counter. Really appreciate it. You guys continuing to submit questions. It's really awesome, and it's definitely a series. It's fun for us to just sit here and answer questions. I think it's kind of cool.
Oh, absolutely.
So I would highly encourage you guys to keep leaving any and all questions you have about paintball, anything. It can be not about paintball. You don't have to ask us about paintball if you really don't want to. You can ask us what our favorite beer is. Right now I'm drinking a Labatt Blue. This is not my favorite beer, but it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, you can guys ask us questions about beer, where we've been.
You've been more places than me, but
you can ask me about my military service and where I went when I was in the Navy. God, I don't know. You can ask us anything. It doesn't have to be about paintball. It's more of I think this could definitely turn into more like an informal sit and vlog and chat to YouTube thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'd really appreciate you guys if you keep hitting up those comments and leaving those questions, so we can keep doing videos like this, because it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So that's about it. Thanks for all the questions around this time, guys. Thank you, everybody. I apologize if I butchered anybody's YouTube name. I just kind of write it down and hope for the best. But that's all we got for you guys for now. So we're going to move on. I'm going to drink the rest of this beer. Probably go smoke a cigarette, go to the bathroom, and we can make more YouTube videos. So, we'll see you guys next time.
Have a good one.